Alright, Jay brought in his Opeth Tribute PC, and you wanted to have some cable management done, Jay.
Yeah, I pretty much built the whole system in about 20 minutes. I didn't have time for cable management. So when I built everything, I just put cables which way and however way I wanted. So I got spare cables all over the place. Didn't really take too much in consideration that I started shoving stuff in here and started playing on it. Kind of a nice thing, but also kind of a disadvantage for some cases is that they've added their SATA, all 6 of their SATA connectors are now at an angle. So you can essentially stealth your wires a lot easier instead of having them stick straight up and then have to bend the actual cable. Now you can just put it at an angle. The only problem is that the hard drive rack gets in the way a little bit.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of shove them in there with your fingernail.
Another thing I noticed is the Lian Li front port connectors for the USB. We've got them coming right through the middle of the hard drive cage, and I thought what we could do is just disconnect them from the motherboard and just route them around the cage and the back so they're just not so in your face right there.
Right.
Other than that, we've got your rear exhaust fan connection here. We can probably take some zip ties and tidy that up a bit and tuck it under here and hide it. The octopus lines from the PC power cooling's power supply. I think what we could do is maybe hide them around the back side of the motherboard tray, just so they're not in this bay right here like a bird's nest.
Yep. And the nice thing about PC power and cooling supplies is that they provide lots and lots of cables, but at the same sense they provide lots and lots of cables. They give you tons and tons of cables, but most of the times for most PCs, if you're not running a server, you're not going to need all of them. So that's kind of the nice thing. That's why I kind of wish they made them modular.
Disconnect these USB connectors for the front ports of the case. Nice. So there's just getting ready here. And question, Jay, do you how much do you care about your little
normally I would not
there?
care about the post-test speaker, but since it has the onboard post thing, it's actually extremely helpful because you can actually set on the board to actually have the computer chirp and beep at you when the system temperatures get too hot. Also, there'll be BIOS chirps that I also kind of like to listen to because that's just the old school geek in me.
Take these up and make it even tighter than what Lian Li offers. And what I'm going to use, it's a zip tie kit with bases with adhesive backings, and these are like a 4-inch long zip tie, and you can get these from PC Tech for only $1.99, and we're just going to use those today to do our cable management. Take all the excess power supply lines that aren't being used and pull them out to the right hand side of the case, and we're gonna basically just hide them back here and tack them up on the motherboard tray. Now, I've had people tell me about cable management, well, why don't you just cut off the lines you don't need? Well, my issue with that is you never know down the line if you will need one of those lines, and there may be a time when you upgrade your power supply and you want to sell your existing one, and if you cut off the lines, no one's really going to be interested in buying it. So instead, just take the time to do some good cable management, and that way everything stays intact. You want to start tacking them, like this is a good area here because it's recessed, and when you go to put your side panel on, it won't hit any of the cables. Yeah, whatever works. And I'll just take the zip tie bases, tack them on there, and then just go ahead and start laying down that cable work.
We're going to have a LAN party, and then there's going to be some people in Boston that are going to be playing with us.
Nice.
So we're going to see, like when we play, and they're going to have like 2 big screen TVs, so we're going to see each other play with each other, kind of thing.
here's our progress so far with the motherboard connections. And we're just using zip tie bases and zip ties to just route everything right under the motherboard and then into the back corner here. And right now Jay's on the other end of the chassis and we're just manipulating the main motherboard connection cable. How's it going?
Good.
A little bit of a pain.
Yeah, it's very, 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 very stiff. Get two with one if I can. Nimble fingers.
CJ, you're tucking all the wires up there. Nice. You got that nice recessed area above the motherboard tray, and just check for clearance to make sure the side panel goes back on. Nice, man.
No fuss.
Great. Well, what do you think, Jay?
That looks a lot better.
It does, doesn't it? And it took us,
An hour?
yeah.
Hour and a half, maybe?
Yeah, you got to get into the right mindset. We can get real picky about it, but I'd say for just working off the cuff together, we did pretty good. But you can spend even more time. Let's see that other side again where you hit all the power supply connections. There it is.
I just kind of have this loose just in case. I'll fix this when I get home, all the SATA stuff, but this is pretty much all.